And just look at the concentration on
number one. Nobody wants to put it all on the line just yet, but I might have spoke too soon. Larson would get it, taking down a ton of damage on the Muzz. Looter trying to back him up, and it looks like they got the first elimination of FNCS.
Down goes Larson, and the quick finish for Looter. OCE gets to claim the first on the show today. It's Smite now, left with the pressure of the world on his shoulders. Can he escape these OCE players? It doesn't look very possible. We all know from the past experience that Looter and Muzz are some of the fastest and deadliest when it comes down to these engagements. Overcommit even in the 2v1. That's the respect. But let's get to the real battle. Cloudy Kondo, Tayson, Chapix taking on this big duo toe-to-toe. It's Murstache and Malabuka, who have a 73%, 78% win ratio. When contested, the odds are not looking good. The third party in the distance. Aqua's up on high ground. They're positioning for the fight.
Yeah, Breeze on A and Aqua, they have that high ground. Just put damage onto two different players. They're like eating at a buffet right now when it comes to Storm Surge, but in the feed, Mr. Savage is down on one in Baka from NA West. They're trying to take control of that POI, but all three teams are here. But you got to keep notice while all the action is going down between Malabuka and Murstache, you see Aqua and Reason just trying to keep their distance.
Crazy how they fight back. They are not just allowing this team to third party them. Reason gets super hurt there, and it looks like the battles in the distance get to conclude. But here and now this fight rages on here. Reason all of a sudden has such an advantageous position, right? And lands all those shots the entire game is a turn. Like they've won themselves some space. They're vibing out. Look at the Storm Surge tags here as they start to fight back on top of them. They have so much going for them now that they don't have to worry about that. Whoa, a big fight though. On one, gets back. That's the rotation of all of our spaces. You know what I saw, which was in the feed as well? Japan versus Brazil. Looks like Peppo found one too. So little exchanges happening everywhere. Now we jump over to Vino and Queen.
Defend yourself as Zagu and Miram just kind of looting up the Greasy Grove, whatever Janice and Vidil left behind. And there's actually a lot of the teams that landed in the Grave Cave a little bit north that are trying to rotate toward this slower side of zone. And right now, everybody are just stuck in zone because nobody wants to bite off more than they can chew.
This is our current reigning champions of the Japanese. They're gonna land right behind Chapix. They find Tayson out by himself, a great shot here, and now he steps up. Are really considering peeking out. Now, one thing we spoke about with the professional play.
Not quite there, Tokata, but close enough. I got you, Monster. We're going to be taking a look at North Shine. Mentality in the drop spot is crucial for getting
one of those decisions that you have to make now.
No O'Reilly.
Fight. There's no easy one. Now we have EU versus NA West. No O'Reilly, bad sniper, Epic Whale, and Reed on the other side of the wall.
This one is going to get close because Reed, I already talked about, he loves to fight. Epic Whale loves to fight as well, but Epic Whale is also that IGL, that 6-time champion. He knows when and where to pick his battles in every single one of these situations. So he's probably talking to him right now, get the pre-edit ready, but he's 137 below. This is why they're not abandoning the fight. They have damage to do.
Epic Whale and Reed have around a 70+% win ratio when taking on these early game fights in these early zones. It's looking very good for them, but the Surge, no one can beat the Surge. That is going to be inevitable damage in the coming seconds. So this is why this fight's so important. Down comes the Chunk Heal. They're just going to go in and sit there, try to get as much health as possible. Meanwhile, in the distance, Threats and Alice are starting to put shots in. So this is not a fight that's not, being interfered with. Reed's going to fall first. Epic Whale's by himself. Shots come in. Noah Riley wastes no time. They pounce in, and they're hunting now. Reed's on the run. Shots from the side. Who will steal away this elimination here? Someone has to get it in there.
And it's just all over. Basil, Chase, they're out as well. That's Pink and Anas who pick up two more. And I even saw moments ago that Brugo went down. The elimination feed is just lighting up. Bars
on over to that fight that is inevitably gonna continue. Tayson versus Chapix.
And this is exactly what happened when you split it, though. They split that drop spot. They weren't able to get the early damage. Down goes Chapix. Tayson under pressure. HP getting dropped, and there he goes. Back to...
Is that Edgy and Acorn quite literally said, hey, the better the lobby skill-wise, the better I will perform. That is how much experience he's picked up in the past from practicing against the best of the best lobby.
And already, if you look at their loot right now, that 5-team contestation coming out of Tilted Towers, honestly didn't do too much. 256 above the damage threshold as well. Shots continue to fire off onto Ju. He goes down. Elimination's gonna be cleaned up to Acorn. They gave 2 to their total, and his team.
A matter of time now for them. They will have to take a fight. That's no easy fight on the other side of the wall, but first tags there are going to go to the side of the NA East. The zone is only getting tighter and tighter, and take a look at how many players have huge pressure, rapid and endless now. And they have Clix and Duke sitting above them. Macwin and Kanata starting to look down as well. They're off to a hot start. That is one of the teams to look out for. Meanwhile, a single Elim already for Clix on the other side, so they've survived the drop. A huge shot. Clix finds a 1. They're on to Andalect in the finish. 2. Clix and Duke managed to get 2 more eliminations between them. NA East and Japan playing with each other, but hold up. Vadil, Janice,
where nobody really fought it off spawn. They got some tags and left. 31 below. The pressure is on. They're so close to zone, but they can't necessarily travel to zone because they have to worry about Storm Surge that's actually doing a ton of damage.
31 below. Not looking good, Jacob. Tags are coming in. Clock is ticking. They do have heals. They can survive for a little bit more, but you hear the shots raging everywhere as the lobby turns online. Vadil fires back. He catches Macwood in the feed. That must have been incredible, and that's happening here across Europe. Let's take a look at that one more time.
Yep, you see Vadil just kind of peeking through the cone, catching Macwood off guard. And honestly, a team that doesn't fight off spawn.
Becoming Legends, Cammy and Seti have 2 launch pads. They have material. They have heals. This just might be their game. Well, let's jump on over to Seat. KBR. How's it going here? 132. They have Z Andy and Joe FN on the other side of the wall. This could be a tough one. 23 duos remaining here. The surge is still active. And now as the timer hits 0 and the zone reveals itself, we're going to start entering into the first moving zone territory. These next 25 seconds are going to be some of the toughest they have ever had to deal with. Remember, for some on this stage, this is their first LAN, an in-person event that they have ever experienced here, and they get to play it out now.
And this is where you talk about some of the players that had rotation. It is going to be so important. You see where the zone pulls. There's different elevations that these players are going to have to traverse through. If you don't have any sort of rotation, you're going to have to figure out how to recycle it. Otherwise, you're going to be living a nightmare.
Fadil, he has a launch pad. He's going to play for it. High ground. The first ones to go is Vino. It's Queasy. This is where you expect them to be. They're up top where they are so comfortable. Now, can they hold it all the way? The launch pad comes down. They don't want to stay there and commit the map. They're going to go in and switch it up. Merstash in the low ground down to 40 HP, but he still has some movement to work with.
You can see him speaking to the cone, gathering that information. He has a launch pad as well. He can easily try to find his way through, but there's so many players stacked all around him. They don't want to make it easy, but 28 above the damage threshold. He's not only looking for the perfect rotation, he's looking for some players to put some shots on, but a high ground goes over to Peppo.
Whoa, Asia on height now too. This is big. That's something you did not expect, but Vino and Queezer are now looking up to take it aside and go for it. They land on top of Asia, and it's all or nothing now. Vino fights for it. The wall gets edited. It's not quite his. It's a battle on all fronts here. Can they win it off? And he does just enough. Vino and Queasy have managed to fight back for high ground in the first game of the FNCS Invitation.
Yep, and there goes a saw to the feed. Vadil and Janice, their run came to an end. Miko picking up Anas and Merstash. 2 different players as Alice is trying to break through. 118 below the damage threshold. He knows he cannot stay in one place too long, trying to reunite with Threats, but he goes down as well. Storm Surge really eating these guys alive. Alice has to do something, but the options are so thin. He doesn't know what to do. Finally finding one player, puts the shot on. Storm Surge still going wild. He's below, but that siphon coming through just in the nick of time to keep him alive.
He is alive. He takes down the run, steps into the zone, and look at this. A huge pickup now. That's going to buy him more time. That could be the absolute difference. Meanwhile, Seti and Cammy playing their game. Pamstu and Fash still alive as well. High ground has Queasy and Vino. Logren has Chicho and Trulix playing and leading the front side of the zone. There's not a player in sight. Clix is still alive now, working his way through. He has lost his teammate. The full finish comes through. It might be all or nothing now. He still has so much left in the tank.
Yeah, but I'm not too worried about him because of him and Duke's high placement last FNCS was because of solo clutches from that man himself. And talk about solos. Joe gets one as D Andy goes down. Shots coming in from the high ground. Pressure is there, but Joe's trying to find his way to the front side of zone, but it's a hard journey trying to find it. 12 HP, continuing to drop. Shots still coming in. He's going to find a moment of an oasis to try to stabilize and figure out what's the next play.
Cammy and Seti find their way to the high ground. Down goes Clicks to the hands of Cammy. That's a huge one. Hello, Vino. You have to turn and run. Cammy wants to hear nothing about that noise right there. Meanwhile, Seti's keeping eyes on the general area. Very solid Chicho fighting his way, but no. An edit comes through. It's Zagu and Mareem, who's right above them there. Our FNCS champions of Asia are still here. Down goes Pamstu as well. What a huge elimination here.
The top 7 duos alive. 11 players total left in this game. One of them being Seti and Cammy towards the high ground. The analyst desk called it. These guys don't play too many early game fights. They wait for this end game and for every opportunity. But Acorn, he's trying to sneak some extra points. He has the med miss sitting in the zone. Vino doing the same, but he's almost all out of opportunity.
This is absolutely what you expect of the best players in the world coming together for this invitational here, to have this opportunity to step up to the plate, represent for your region. This is what it's all about. Vino by himself, just working his way, ratting his way through the build. Acorn is as well. There's a set of major points separating them. Vino looks to high ground. He says, I'm not going to allow you to just sit there and focus me. Trulex is meanwhile in the low, looking for something to do here, turning builds into Chrome. Remember, he can slip through any one of these now, becoming desperate.
He's just trying to reinforce a little bit of the builds that are around him so nobody can quickly edit through and try to pick that shot. Miram and Zagu, they don't have that high ground, but they have that mid layer trying to find that comfortability. Vino, only 2 HP, no med miss left. He's gonna have to try to find a siphon here, but no, he gets dropped. Acorn finds another one from the outside of zone.
7 elims for Mareem and Zagu, representing for Asia here, looking great. Meanwhile, Yumi and Cool are getting one step closer now to taking this fight. A huge shot out to Mareem. He's gonna feel that one as he plays defensively, but Zagu is here to back him up. They're going hand in hand. The fight breaks out. They clap back. Down.
Oh my gosh!
Cool steps up to the plate. We are now down to 3 duos in the end game, 2 solos and a duo up top.
Carrying that momentum from last season's FNCS, but he has so much more work to do. Seti and Cammy, the only duo left in the game is Acorn staying alive. Still 4 eliminations on the back of Cool, trying to find his way through. But this, like I said, there's only 1 duo team, and they have the high ground and the recipe for success.
You cannot write a better story for becoming legends. Seti is fighting back. Cammy is fighting back. They're looking to get inside. There goes the elim they were looking for. Just 1 player separates them, but Acorn will not survive. And Seti and Cammy take game number 1.
Poland is
the least likely duo, in my opinion, to find themselves up there. Do so well played coming from them, and also not to mention this end clip right here doesn't even tell the full story. Seti goes down in that mid game, and Cammy clutches up 1v2, which why has so many eliminations coming into this. And then to close it out here, just 2 separate solos, and they make easy work of them.
It was right around the start of Zone 8 that we saw Cammy just sweep Queasy completely off guard there on the flank. Didn't seem as though Queasy was fully aware of the fact, because there were so many teams trying to challenge that high ground.
It was kind of crazy. I'm surprised there wasn't more, I guess, intermingling.
Big battles going on here, and it's really close towards the top of this leaderboard. Of course, Cammy and Seti finding themselves at the top. They're getting that victory royale, securing 44 points. The early lead after game number 1, but NA West also representing here, going down in that third place position. Sorry.